But then you go back over the evidence of them staging it. You have BP dumping, the BP executive dumping over a third of his stock the week before this happens. You have Goldman Sachs that co-chaired BP. Goldman Sachs really has a controlling share in BP. You said, well, I thought you said it's the Queen. They have the controlling shares in Goldman Sachs and in BP and in Dutch Royal Shell. I mean, in everything. Go do your research. But Goldman Sachs chairman, in fact, that's the Bloomberg headline, Goldman Sachs CEO and chairman, he was both, was Goldman Sachs head. People won't believe it, and they won't look it up either. Just pull it up, and people will be able to see it at prisonplanet.tv. And so they dump their stock. Goldman Sachs dumps its stock, record level. Not on any other oil company, just that one. The CEO dumps his stock. Halliburton doing work for them a month before. We now know 2 months before they knew this was going to blow up. Halliburton goes out and buys a company that does Gulf cleanups for oil, and it goes on and on and on and on and on. But that's all just circumstantial. Concrete on record, we have a month into this, and we're now 70 days in. A month in, they had the Coast Guard hearings with the men that were on the ships and on the rigs and who were in the conversations, and they said it's never before been done. You can go read these transcripts. We have links to it in our article at prisonplanet.com. States need to launch criminal investigation to BP, federal government role in oil spill. And we go through the evidence. And they were told, you're not going to put concrete in, you're not going to put mud in, you're going to dump water in to the well. And they said, that won't pressurize this well. A regular well would blow out. A regular well would come in, as they call it, and it's going to explode. The rig is going to burn. Yeah, there it is. Goldman's great timing for unloading BP stock. Yeah, that's the article about him unloading it. The headline out of Bloomberg was, Goldman Sachs head was also head of BP. It was in a bunch of papers, but we've got to show them. They're programmed not to believe anything. Okay, they're programmed. If something's threatening to them, they deny it. I must show them. Okay. So all of that's going on. All of that's happening. And you can read, I can't say this on the radio because it's cuss words, but you can read the transcripts of the hearings. And it's the head of the well, the head engineers, the people who were the head engineers on the boats, all talking to BP in the 2 months before, saying this is going to blow up, this is going to catch fire. And then when it blew up, there's all the conversations in the court record to BP executives in Houston from the satellite phones saying, you bleeping bleeper. I told you this was going to come in and it was going to cause an explosion and a fire. Are you bleeping happy? No one has ever dumped water in on a deep well. You understand, folks, to keep the gas and oil pressure down, they're supposed to put in mud and cement and block it in and put multiple plugs in. Instead, they dump seawater in. And the people told him it's going to blow up. Now, shouldn't there be a criminal investigation? Isn't that at least criminal negligence, as our article says? Evidence, 100% criminal negligence, but all the evidence points said deliberate criminal negligence. Now, I'm going to give each caller 1 minute or less when we come back, so be ready. And when we come back, I'm going to give you the phone numbers to the governors. You can't count on the feds to do this. They're the ones running the whole operation and using this to nationalize and pass new taxes and take over society. They've already taken over health care. They've already taken over the banks. They've already taken over the automakers for insiders. Now they're going to take over energy, folks. Stay with us. But I can give each caller about 45 seconds because we've got about 10 phone calls on the phone board here. And I want to go to Paul, Maggie, Julie, Mike, others. Just have your point ready, make it, and we're going to move on. Because I want to hear what you have to say, but I ran out of time covering the news. Bottom line, BP and the White House are inside baseball team members. Goldman Sachs quietly owns BP. They are behind the banking collapse, not just here, but in other nations. They need their carbon tax, which is to be paid to the private central banks, namely J.P. Morgan Chase, Goldman Sachs, and others. They need their world government. They need their new global currency, SDRs, backed up with carbon taxes. Their whole agenda's in trouble since the Copenhagen-Denmark treaty fell apart. And now Obama's got a chance with this ongoing crisis for the people to say something must be done. And he says, guess what? I got a tax for you. That'll fix it in the future. And that's what they've done. That's why he's playing golf and laughing at you and the BP guys out there sailing around. It's a big joke. So you need to go to Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com to this article titled, States Need to Launch Criminal Investigation into BP. What are the states doing when the feds tell them you can't be off the shore 100 yards with your own state vessels cleaning up oil? Since when do the feds rule everything? It's time for the states to say no. But it's also time for the states to have their own indictments, their own grand jury investigations of BP. They need to call in these BP employees, stop letting BP boss everybody around and tell the media they can't be there on the seashore, stop letting the BP run the cover-up for Obama. They're all working together. And bring these people to justice, folks. They have created this crisis, and they're bringing in the tyranny of the nationalization of the oil companies, and that means energy increases. The oil companies are nationalized in Europe. They pay $7, $8 a gallon for gas, folks. Don't say you weren't warned. Here are the phone numbers. I'm going to blitz to your calls quickly. Here are the phone numbers. Again, they're in the article. But you can call the governor of Florida, Charlie Crist, at 850-488-4441. Again, that's Governor Charlie Crist. That's 850-488-4441. You can call Bobby Jindal, who's big on talk, short on action, all hat and no cattle, inch deep, mile wide, fake conservative. Give him a call. Come on. Let's see criminal investigation by the state. The state's got criminal prosecution powers. Grab those BP people and clap them in irons. Come on. Get those witnesses in there. Main line, 225-342-7015. 225-342-7015. Again, these numbers are all up on the site. Call Haley Barber, the former head of the RNC. You think he's going to save you? You better look out, folks. But call him and let that overfed joker know that we're aware this is a bipartisan scam being run. 877-405-0733, 877-405-0733. Stop playing games. Their emails, their addresses, other numbers, they're all up on PrisonPlanet.com and Infowars.com. Stop screwing around. We know that BP executives gave orders that were criminal, that they knew would blow that well up. They were told that in the Coast Guard testimony. It's on record. We have them. Get a criminal investigation going like Enron, and they'll start ratting each other out, and we can bring them and Barry Soetoro, known as Barack Obama, and all the rest of these criminals down. Or you can have them win and nationalize oil and carbon tax you and literally have federal inspectors in your house. That's in the bill that's already passed the House. This isn't a game. They're coming with internet boxes in your house that run your TV through it where the government watches everything you do. I've got the FCC's own documents here. This is happening. You're being raped. All right. What's the point of even taking calls? Maybe I should go into overdrive, huh? Maybe that's what the guys want. You guys want to do some overdrive here to make sure we get to all these calls? I don't see an excited, come on, let's do it. We'll do what we have to at least take these calls. We won't be on the AM and FM, but we'll be at the internet streams, at least at Infowars.com. Let's go to Paul in Connecticut. Paul, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Great. Look at that. 9/11 brought us Patriot Acts 1 and 2. In the wake of this BP disaster, they're going to rush through a lot of anti-constitutional stuff. But come on, the governors are just as corrupt, and the state legislatures are just as corrupt, and you're never going to get a grand jury to do anything because they got guys in there that are just not going to do what we want.
Oh, yeah, they're all going to get paid off, and they're going to whine and act like they're mad. Well, you got to do something. You can have county grand juries that have people that were damaged by the oil. They can start calling in these BP workers who were out there on record saying they were ordered to do stuff they knew would blow up. I mean, we can't just give up, Paul. What do we do?
Oh, no, I'm not giving up. I'm telling you, it's going to come to push comes to shove. It's got to get worse. The people aren't going to wake up. These basketball fans turning over cars and the rest of it, they're on a whole nother level.
That's what's important to them. That's right. They don't want freedom. They want to go out and attack families and cars.
Look, you got the borders that are open up. They got the UN, and they got foreign troops on the soil.
Obama just gave a national park to Mexico. I mean, you can't make this up.
FEMA camps are sitting here waiting for us while we're sitting here sucking our thumbs, waiting for the whole thing to come down.
Paul, I hear you. Maggie in Pennsylvania, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hey, Alex. I just wanted to call. I saw a brass check TV video. These are professors that are talking about a huge, deadly bubble of gas underneath this thing. If they're right, this thing hasn't even begun to destroy what it's going to do to not Louisiana or Mississippi. It's going to be a tsunami on Florida. If this,
well, ma'am, I appreciate your call, but we don't have any evidence that it's going to blow up and detonate a bunch of natural gas. Natural gas, again, that's a rumor that that's going to happen. If they detonate a nuke, though, it could ignite those underground gas supplies and could cause a chain reaction. So I do think it's serious. We should look at it. But a lot of people saying this is guaranteed to happen. A lot of fear out there. I've done an investigation. That's not the case.